Oh, hat.
Oh, yeah, hats. Well, that was redundant. Hi. The music. Anyhow, welcome. It is episode number 261 of our button show. What does this button do? And it's about smartphones for beginners, part 2. Right?
Show that?
Yeah, I don't want.
Okay.
It's an educational show about smartphones and technology with us geeks on tour. Right? If you're watching on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe. Click the button to subscribe and click on that bell. You'll get notified when we go live. It's a good thing. Right? Chris always likes to start with a quick tip. What do you have there, Chris?
Well, our topic for today is back to basics. This is part 2 of our basics series. We're talking about controls, and one of the main controls you have on your phone is the home button. But what if it's not there? This is a quick tip about about Android.
814.
Android.
Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour. And if you have an Android phone, specifically a Samsung, you're probably familiar with the buttons at the bottom for home, back, and recent apps. If they disappeared, it could be distressing, and they might have just done so. I'm going to show you what I mean and show you how to get your buttons back. So here's my Samsung S21 phone, and what if I was making a call and I decided I needed to go look at my calendar? I could go to the home button and then find my calendar, look it up, and then I can go back to my recent apps and go back to the phone. But what if those buttons aren't there? So here's my same Samsung phone, S21 Ultra. After a recent change in settings, the buttons are not here. I can tap the screen and the buttons do not appear. What you do is you just swipe up from the bottom. So I'm on the phone to go look at my calendar. I'd swipe up again to get to the main home screen. Look it up. Now to get to my recent apps, I have to know to swipe up and hold in the middle. And then, what if you don't like that? You want your buttons back. That's a setting. Go into your settings, and it's under display. It's called navigation bar. And instead of the swipe gestures, you can put the buttons back. Yay! Buttons are back.
Now, I was using my Samsung for demonstrating that, but we first actually learned about it and figured it out on your Pixel.
Right.
And it did automatically change on yours, right? With an Android update.
Yeah, something happened and
You had no buttons.
I had no buttons and I had to swipe things around, but I did find them. I brought them back.
Right.
That's
just
the deal.
just like
Just
that.
the deal.
Oh, okay. So
The big deal. All right.
Yep.
All right. So, you got a slide there? I guess that's us then, isn't it? Hi, everyone. I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your iPhone or your Android phone or your tablets? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we are geeks, also known as propeller heads, thus the silly hats. We are geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So we've come up with this YouTube show where we pick a topic and go into a little bit of depth once or twice a month, and all of our content is collected on our website. And when we started this show almost 10 years ago now, right? Yeah. I promised that we would not forget the beginners. So that's why we're doing this topic today, is to make sure that we are helping beginners as well as photographers and etc.
All right, Chris, where are we?
We're home. And I just think people should know that my husband walks on water. That was we've actually made use of the pool here.
Yeah.
It's a community pool, and we don't go over there very often, but it's good for his hip reconstruction to swim a little bit, and it's certainly nice to get in the water when it's so hot out.
Okay. Want to say hi to our online viewers. I've been putting some of them up there. Maurice is up in New Jersey. He's usually a neighbor down here. So, Liz, hi. How are you? Somebody can't hear us. I don't see anybody else saying there's no problems. So, we have started it. Yeah, Richard's on there. We're speaking. Turn up your volume. There's a nice tip right there. If you can't hear us, turn up the volume.
It's always scary when we hear that you can't hear us, because
right,
we can't tell easily.
Yeah, and if you're watching on the replay, welcome. Click on some of the other videos we have here. Special thank you for our premium members. You guys are really what makes this whole thing possible and gives us a reason to do this. Premium members, you can become a member at geeksontour.com/join now. We really appreciate it. Okay. Hi, Jimmy. Hi from LBI. And Delray Beach, Florida. Pretty cool. Victoria, BC. I want to talk about the Backstage Pass. It's up for premium members only. It's one of the big advantages of being a premium member. You can come on to a Zoom meeting afterwards with us, the Geeks on Tour, live right after this. And I really think you should. And
get to continue the conversation, learn more stuff.
Right. Anything else? Let's
click
see.
on Gia.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Gia, my wonderful yoga instructor. I missed it today because you don't do it every day. I think I would take it.
From Denver. Good to see you, Barbara. Okay. And Murray, BC, cool temperatures. No smoke, that's good. Anything else? Well, how do you learn today's technology, Chris?
I just love, we used to show this picture when we used to do more live presentations, and I just love him. Yeah, most people are learning today by asking their grandkids, right? But we can help, honest. Because we're in the same boat. We're learning all the time.
Same boat.
We're learning all the time, and we love to teach. I love to teach. He facilitates my teaching.
I try and make this stuff happen. Sometimes it works. Sometimes not so much.
So, and how do we help? Well, with this Sunday show, but also on our website. There's tons and tons of our content on the website. And if for smartphone for beginners, if you go to the tips, there's a whole category that's just smartphone for beginners. We'll show you that.
Okay.
So what we're doing today, as I say, this is part 2. Part 1 we did a month or 2 ago. That was Know Your Device. It was how to find the manual and know what model you have. Today we're doing how to work with it, how to navigate around, what are the controls and the settings, both for iPhone and Android. So how to use the touch screen, is it on? How to unlock it, navigating with the home button, back button, reboot. Everybody needs to know how to reboot their phone just like they did with their computer, and know how to find settings. So for touchscreen essentials, we have a little pre-recorded segment here to show you about tap, double tap, long press, drag, and swipe.
Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and this tutorial video about smartphones is Touchscreen Essentials. This is for real beginners, like you just got your first smartphone, you don't know how to touch it. Contrary to popular belief, we weren't born knowing this. So here I am in Google Maps, and I'm just going to show you tap, double tap, drag, long press, pinch and zoom. So tap just means a light touch. I'm tapping on the menus down at the bottom. Don't push hard, don't jab on them. It likes just a light touch. That's what tap means. I go back to explore, I'm on the map. Double tap means tapping twice fast. Double tap, I'm zooming in by Washington. Then you can drag by putting your finger on and dragging, holding down on the screen as you move around. Double tap. Pinch means using two fingers on the screen. When you spread them, you're zooming in. Let's call that a reverse pinch. And then when you pinch, you're zooming out. And drag means you can move the map anywhere around the world. Let's say you want to put a marker somewhere right under my finger here in Changwon. To drop a marker, it's a long press. You touch on what you want to mark, and voila, a marker comes up. Now let me show you those same touches in Google Photos. I'll go home and out to Google Photos. Same thing, a light touch on the menus at the bottom. That's tapping. Then open a photo is also a single tap. Then you need to find your back button, usually at the top left on all apps, to go back. Pinch and zoom lets you zoom in on the photo or zoom back out. And then long press on Google Photos will select a photo. So same touches, different programs will have different things associated. Now we come to swipe. It's an easy motion. You just put your finger on the screen and swipe. We call this swipe right because that's the direction my finger is going. But forgive me if sometimes I call this swipe right, because even though my finger is moving to the left, I'm going to a screen that is further right. On your home screens, it's very important where you're swiping. So that left and right was pretty easy. Top, if you swipe all the way off the top of the screen and swipe down, you're getting your notifications. To get rid of them, you swipe up from the bottom. But if you swipe up from the middle of your screen, this is an Android, this is a Samsung. Swiping up from the middle gets me my all apps. Tapping the home button gets me home. And there's a special little place on the very side of this phone that if I swipe over, I'm getting this special sidebar. Now on the iPhone, there's also very special swipes. Swiping left and right is the same. Swiping up gets you to your home screen. A swipe down from the top left, not always easy, will get you your notifications. Swipe up from the bottom to go home. Swipe down from the top right. This one is important. Top right gets you your quick settings, your control center on the iPhones greater than iPhone 10s. Then swipe down from the middle gets you your search for apps. swipe up. So swipes are very dependent on exactly where you're swiping and which phone you have.
Okay, so went through that pretty quick because a lot of that most of you know, but
I would hope so.
there's always something new.
Always.
So this actually was one of the harder segments for me to put together the lesson plan because there's actually so much. But so what is it? It's important for beginners to know. And I want to show you one more thing on that touching. If you are a brand new user and you need to practice, you're not getting the hang of touching the phone, you need to practice with a game. I think games are a great way to do that. And I just want you to know that Solitaire is available without downloading anything. So I'm going to, this is exactly the same on either the iPhone or the Android. And you would go to a browser, so you just go to the web and search for Solitaire. And search. And on mine, it pops right up because I have search. You might need to scroll down a little bit, but I'm not talking about installing anything. I'm talking about just playing it right from here. And easy is good for me. And it's just a great way to get practice with tapping the screen. Some people want to push and jab at the screen when they, it looks like they're mad at it or something, and they don't respond well to that. So get used to how your phone wants to be touched. And the second thing I wanted to say is on the Samsung, there's a special 2-finger. So on the Samsung, if I want to get to my quick settings, I just swipe down from the top. And there's the first row of quick settings. Swipe again, and I get a lot more of all of the possible quick settings. Well, if you think about it, and if you care, 2 fingers swiping down gets you straight to the full set. So 1 finger, 2 fingers, swipe, touch, long press, they all mean something a little different. Okay, so that's that one. Now, what if I've had people say that maybe they have a really badly burned finger, or it's really cold out, or they're using a screen protector and the touching just doesn't work. I want to show you how you can go to a setting to fix that. On the Android, they both have settings for touches, but it's only the Android that has the setting called sensitivity. So I go into settings, and I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's under display, but the easy way to find any setting is to use search. So I'm in settings, I tap search, and I type touch. And there's touch sensitivity right there. It was under display. And touch sensitivity says increase the touch sensitivity of the screen for use with screen protectors. Or I've also recommended it for people with really cold fingers. And if they still can't get things to work, then try using a stylus. I'm not talking about the special stylus that comes with, that looks like a pen. It looks like it can be a pen, but I'm talking about the eraser side, and that's not just a rubber eraser.
Right, you can put it down and show it under there.
There we go. Okay.
Show how it works.
Yeah, and so it works just like your finger, but it works better if you're having problems with your finger using it. So it's just a tap and a drag, whatever you want. They're really nice, but it's an extra piece, so it's really good to be able to operate your phone with just your finger. Okay. On, off, sleep, wake. Okay, so for this, I'm going to be showing you both the iPhone and the Android side by side. Let's see how this can work here. So this is the Android, that's the iPhone. They're on, right? That's obvious. They are both on. So it's this one button on the side. I call it the power button or the sleep wake button. Press it once. Same thing on the Android. Press it once. And they're off, right?
Maybe. Screens are off.
The screens are off, that's all. You've just put them to sleep. If I got a call, these phones would still ring. They're still on. So how do you turn them off? Well, first of all, how do you wake them back up? So I wake them back up with the same button. That's why it's often called the sleep wake button. But where are my apps? This is called the lock screen. When you first wake it up and you try, see now that one was, you first wake it up and you try to use it, it's locked. Now, my Android has a special setting. Thought I dealt with that, though. If I wake it up and then swipe, no, it's has another setting that keeps it unlocked when it knows that it's on my same...
When it's close by.
When it's close by, right. But so the iPhone...
Another setting.
Yeah, if somebody picked up the iPhone, they would need to know my passcode in order to get in. Now I can just lift it up and show it my face.
Oh, wait.
And it's on.
Right.
Okay, so that's lock. But what if you don't like it doing it with your face, or you don't like the way the Samsung is opening it up? You go into your settings. And settings, I swipe down from the top and I tap on the little gear. This is on the Samsung. And then I'm going to search. See, settings, there's so many. I can't memorize where everything is, so I always use search. So settings, and I want to know about lock and the lock type. There, see, so smart lock is what I have on the Samsung that is allowing it to stay unlocked when it's nearby me. My basic unlock is a pattern
that no one knows.
And here it is set for on-body, trusted places, and trusted devices. So if I'm logged into my Wi-Fi, my home Wi-Fi, it stays unlocked. But let's say that I want to change from pattern. I don't want pattern. First, you have to know the existing pattern, and then I could tell it to go to a pin instead. So settings. And then for fingers, you can record several fingers. I like the fingerprint. That's my favorite way of unlocking a phone is with the fingerprint. And that's down under biometrics. Notice that the Samsung can use either face or fingerprints. I have fingerprints. But notice this is only turning that on and off. I want to go to where you can record another fingerprint. I don't know where that is. How do I find out? I go to search and type finger. And there is fingerprints. I want to register add fingerprint. So for example, I have 2 fingerprints registered, my thumb and my first finger. I could add Jim's finger as well if I wanted him to be able to unlock my phone with a fingerprint. So all sorts of settings. But one thing, what if you say, well, I don't like this. I want it to just be unlocked all the time. Can you turn that off? So screen lock, see, like that. It does get to be a bit annoying, right? There is an option for none. So if you really don't want your phone to be secure, you can set it to none, but read this message. Your fingerprints will be removed for your security. If you're using fingerprint authentication in apps, you'll need to register your fingerprint again. So we don't like none. You need to have some lock on your phone that is unlocked. iPhone. So on here, I can't get in it unless I know the code or I have it up to my face. Now just having it up to my face and it unlocks. What if I don't want that? I want to turn off the locking altogether on here. In Apple, settings are that icon right there. You tap on settings. If you know where the setting is, good on ya. I always pull down and reveal this search field, and I'll type in passcode. All right. Oh, I didn't spell that right, did I? There we go. Passcode settings. And if you... No, that wasn't what I wanted. All right.
What do you want?
I want Face ID. This is one where Face ID and passcode. There we go. And I have to know my... You can change it. You have to prove that you are the owner before it lets you change it. So...
Oh, they could see that.
So let's say that I just turn off the phone unlock with the Face ID. Now, when it goes to sleep and I try to wake it up, my face will not unlock it. I have to know the code.
They saw that. Go ahead.
How?
Change the code because your hand is... Look at it. There you go. You can cover that. Unbelievable.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So lots of choices with unlock.
All right. Let's see. We had some questions here.
Okay.
Google Calendar issue not syncing between Android and Windows.
Usually that's an account issue. Or you can look in your settings on the phone for...
Oh, Maurice says he had the same problem. It was caused by Android phone running low on storage space. So maybe you can check that. And or as Chris said, an account issue, right? All right. And Richard, where do I go to put a message on my phone to call a phone number if someone finds my phone?
We have another video on that. Yeah. How about, that sounds like a good one to do in in the backstage pass, Richard.
Yeah, join us in the backstage pass. We'll be back there
We'll
for that.
do how to put a message on your lock screen. Yes.
Okay. Kevin says thanks. We'll see how that works. All right.
All right. Changing how to unlock your phone. Well, I just tortuously went through that. On the iPhone 10 and up, it's in settings, Face ID and passcode. On the SE and the iPhone 9 and down, you don't have Face ID, you have Touch ID. So it's a different settings. And in Android, it's under security and privacy, and you can change the way you unlock the phone to be something that's more comfortable for you. Home button, back button. What do they do? First, I want to demo the back button, and that only exists on the Android. I love the back button. It's the one thing I miss when I go to my iPhone. So, for example, let's say I open Google Photos. I did a screenshot. Okay. I open Google Photos and I go to Library and I go to my favorites and I open a picture. Now I'm done with that. I want to go back. The back button at the bottom of the Android is always there. It always takes you back one step, back another step, back another step to the home screen. So that's back. Now to demonstrate the home button, I'm going to make a phone call. I'll still stay under there. I'm going to call Jim. I have this handy little shortcut here to call Jim.
I think I'll ignore this. We're in the phone here.
And now we're talking, and he says,
Hello?
What's on our calendar for next Wednesday?
What's on our calendar for next Wednesday?
And so what do? Well, first of all, the calendar is on the phone. So, no, you don't have to hang up and say, I'll look and I'll call you back.
That's what we used to do.
Yeah, right. First of all, I need to be able to take it away from my ear. So I'll put it on speaker. And now the call is still going on.
You probably want to turn that down.
And I can tap on the home button and go to my calendar. I can look up whatever needed to be looked up. And then you go to your recent apps and I can go back to the phone. Now, yes, I know I could have also gone back to the phone with this little green button at the top, but I like the recent apps. All right. So now I can hang up. So that's home and recent apps. And I want to do the same, with the iPhone? With the iPhone, this is an iPhone 14. So it just FYI. And okay. I make a call to Jim. Oh, I can't. Never mind. Not with this phone. I can't.
Okay.
This one doesn't have a phone service. All right. But so let me do the Google Photos example.
All right. No, that's this one?
This is iPhone.
This is
iPhone. And it does not have a back button. So if I go to Google Photos, go to Library, go to an album, and open a picture, now I don't have a back button to get back. What do? you have to depend on the app to have a back button, and if so, it's in this upper left. And almost always you will find a back in the upper left. But now to go home, it doesn't go back to home. To home you have to swipe up from the bottom. So that is the home button, the back button, and for multitasking on the iPhone for 10 and above, the ones that don't have a physical button, you swipe up to the middle, still holding down on the screen, and then let go. That's how you get your multitasking. All right. So that's home. And that tip 071, I want to show you how you find those. We're trying to put all our tips onto the website in an easily searchable fashion. So geeksontour.com, tutorials, all tips. This is a members only feature, but here are the smartphone basics, and you can just go through all of those. If you want to get smarter than your smartphone, you go through all of those and you will be. All right. Next, reboot and force quit. Okay, so there's two more on the basic smartphone tips, the reboot and the force quitting apps, and they kind of go together. So let's see, I'm going to start with my Samsung, my Android phone. And first, I just want to show you my recently used apps. That's this 3- button down on the very bottom left. When you tap that, you see all of the apps that you have recently opened. Now, some people think that it's important to do a close all to clean this up. It is not. And people have gotten into fights over this, but I've done a lot of research, and it's not like a computer. These aren't taking up processing power. They're just placeholders. So actually, if you close all the time, you're slowing down your phone because it doesn't have the shortcut placeholders available. That said, there are some reasons to use this. But first, I want to show you rebooting. I'm going to hold down on the power button, also known as the side key, and I'm going to choose restart. So that is rebooting my phone. So it's in process. So on the Android phone, there is that restart option. It shuts down and comes back all on its own. But what I want you to see is that my most recently used apps are all still there. So reboot did not clean them off. Why? Because it doesn't need to. It's not a good idea to clean those off. Now, if you're just, if you're one of those that always likes to have a completely clean, neat desk, then okay, I understand. It doesn't really hurt much, but
it does slow you down.
I wanted to give an example of when because this happened just a couple days ago. We were traveling and I needed to use my Android Samsung as a hotspot. And it wasn't working. I mean, the hotspot would turn on. I could connect my computer to the hotspot that my phone was being, but after a couple of minutes, it would drop it. It just wouldn't stay.
Reboot.
It
really does solve a lot of problems.
It did fix it. The hotspot worked after that.
Yeah.
But if you're just having problems, for example, with Google Photos, let's say you start to scroll through Google Photos and you go to library and nothing shows up and nothing does, and you tap on something and it doesn't work. You could reboot the phone, but if the only thing you're having a problem with is Google Photos, then you just want to reboot Google Photos. And that is what the multitasking is for. I would tap on the 3 lines that brings up recently used apps, and I would swipe Google Photos off. That means when I reopen it, it's not starting from that placeholder. It's starting fresh, and it usually fixes those problems. So that was on the Android. Same thing on iOS. I'm going to use my, what is this?
That's an iPad.
That's an iPad. Because it can work if you have a newer iPhone that doesn't have a button. You need to know how to get to your multitasking. And you do that by swiping up from the bottom and then letting go right at the middle. Now I'm on the multitasking, as opposed to just swiping up. Now I'm at home. So swipe up, kind of hold for a second in the middle and let go. Now you can find your misbehaving app and force quit it. That's what that's called. And on the iOS devices, you hold down on the power button until you see slide to power off. And you do have to power off and then count to 10, hold down on the power button to turn it back on again. What if holding down on that power button doesn't work for you? And it doesn't work for me on either of these phones. On the Android, I can make it work. On the iPhone, I have to press the side key with a volume key. So let me show you Apple first. So what I'm saying is if I hold down on the power key, now I call this a power key, sometimes I call it sleep wake, that's what they used to call it, but since it does so many things now, they've just started calling it the side key, the side button on the Apple. So side button, first of all, brings it on, and I'll turn it on. It's totally open. Now I want to power it down, not just put it to sleep. I want to power it down. I'll hold down on the side button, and all that does is bring up Siri. And there's no setting to change that. Now I could ask her, reboot my phone. Restart my phone.
Just to confirm, you want to restart this device?
Okay, I could tap restart. So
no problem, I won't.
But if you want to do it right, first you hold down the right side key and one of the ones on the left, one of the volumes, doesn't matter up or down. Hold them both down, and then you get this screen where you can slide to power off. And then you hold down on the power button to bring it back up. On the Samsung, same thing. If I hold down on the side key, it's bringing up Bixby, the Siri equivalent on Samsung. I say, I don't want that. I want holding down on the side key to bring up my shutdown options. You can do that. So I'm going into settings, and I'm going to go to some setting. What setting? Lock screen. And side key. That's what I'm talking about. It's a setting for the side key. So I search for side key, And here we go, where it says press and hold will wake Bixby. I say no, I want press and hold to give me the power off menu. All right, so now if I press and hold that side key, I get the power off menu. I like that. Much better. All right. Although there is one other choice on the Samsung. And this is kind of cool, I think. On your quick settings, and you scroll down one more time, that little power icon is the power off. So you could keep Bixby on the side button and use that if you wanted to. And do we have any other questions?
Yeah,
I'm just about done.
See, Richard, where do I put a message on my phone to call a phone number if someone finds my phone?
And that's what I said, we're going to deal with that in the backstage.
Oh, is that the other? Oh, I thought there was
That's in the
another one.
backstage.
All right, how should you turn off an iPhone completely?
How often?
How often?
You turn it off completely when you have a problem. You know, that's the main thing. It will clear up a problem. Generally, I say, once a week or so.
That's probably a good one.
I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to, but it's kind of a good idea every week or two.
Well, Ann, hi. Thanks for all your tips. My phone just found you. I didn't realize we were lost. Nice. Marie says, because of dexterity issues on iOS, I prefer to go to Settings, General, and shut down at the bottom. Then I slide to close. So.
Yes, that is another one. Is in the Settings, General, there is a shutdown option.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Unless something else came up. There we go. Oh.
What is Bixby?
Oh, you don't want to know. If you Go ahead.
No,
it's not mine. I don't have a Samsung. Bixby is kind of like a Siri or another helper that is on your phone. Some people like it.
Yeah, some people who have really gotten to know it, everything requires learning. Once you learn how to use something, it becomes invaluable. And I have heard people say that Bixby is invaluable to them. You can use it to turn on your flashlight, to shut down or restart your phone, to call, make a phone call. All the things that you can do with Siri or with Hey Google. It's just Samsung's assistant, voice assistant. And I don't use it, I use Google.
And Lolan says, yeah, if my Pixel looks different from your Samsung, absolutely. My Pixel might even look different from your Pixel, depending on which one we're doing.
Well, if there's something in particular, so like, I'll do this one on all three. How's that? Searching for apps. So have you ever known that there's an app on your phone, but you can't find it? Let's see what you do. This is the Samsung, and I'll scroll. I know there's a calculator on here. I know there is. I swipe. I can't find the calculator.
Move it.
You can search for apps. Swipe up from the middle. And now here they all are in alphabetical order as well. So you can search through here and find it more successfully than on your home screens. But you can also search. So, calculator. I just type CAL. There's my calculator. Great. Go home and I'm done. iPhone. Exact same idea. But instead of swiping up from the middle, you swipe down from the middle to get into search. Or actually, I just noticed in the latest update, they put a little search button right there, so you don't even have to know to swipe down. You can just tap on the search and it gets you into search. And calculator. So I think search is just the best thing that technology has given us. I use search for everything. So that's how to search. And that was for an app on the phone. That's not a Google search. Oh, let me see your Pixel.
No.
So the Pixel, I think in this regard, it works just like the Samsung. You swipe up from the middle and you are now looking at all apps. And there is a search. We'll see if he has a calculator. Yep. And there's the home and and there's the home button and the back button and the multitasking button. So everything is still there, pretty much the same.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me my phone back. I hate when she takes my phone. All right. What do you got there?
I think we're done.
Oh, here's a question. What can you clean your camera lens with? And thanks for these tips.
A t-shirt is fine. You're talking about our number one tip for taking good photos with your smartphone is to clean the lens. If you have a nice little microfiber cloth, that's great. But it's not like a fancy big camera where you need to be careful not to...
I have a big green one.
Oh.
But you can't see it.
I mean, there is a little bit of glass covering the lens, so you can even just clean it with a t-shirt.
And it's very strong glass. It doesn't scratch easily, so you're probably pretty good there. So let's see. Judy, my new Jabra Pro 10 hearing aid recommends turning off my screen locking sound and dial pad tones and her settings, sound and vibration. Probably because they would be annoying if it were going bop, bop, bop in your ear. I don't know. But I would do what they tell you to do. But knowing you might try other ways to do it. Yes, we love our pixels.
But yes, there are settings for all of those things. So you just go into settings and search.
Okay. How about learning more?
Well, we have all of this is on our website, especially in the tips. It's in the tips where I try to succinctly write the tip and then give links to lots more. So this is a member benefit with the tips, but all of our tutorial videos, all of these shows are there. Show number 66 is where we dealt with most of these issues before. That was a few years ago. This is show 261. And if you have a computer club nearby, or even not nearby, a lot of them have gone virtual these days, check it out. There's the Association of PC User Groups, APCUG, and that's their website there. And you can look for groups near you. That photo is from Sun City Hilton Head. They have a PC user group that is listed in the APCUG, and we stop by there and work with them every once in a while. User groups are great. And the Tech for Seniors is kind of part of that. techforseniors.com. Tech for Senior. No plural. Tech for Senior.
Great. Sign up for our newsletter. You can scan that QR code. If you don't know how, we can teach you.
Oh, we did questions.
Yeah, we did questions. Cool. Well, we have some questions for you. Did you learn something? Okay, the side button is also known as the sleep-wake button. what other ways can you wake a sleeping phone? A, raise the phone. B, tap the screen. C, depends on settings.
Depends on settings. I mean, there are other ways. Mine do wake just by raising them or by tapping the screen, but that's because that's how my settings are set.
Okay, what do you do with the power button to turn the phone off? Is it A, long press, B, depends on settings, C, ask Siri, D, press with the volume button?
The way they're working now, at least both of my phones, will bring up the power off menu if I hold the power and a volume key. But it also depends on settings.
Okay, true or false? If tapping an icon doesn't work, you should press harder. No! False. These things, they're sensitive. They want to be touched the way they like to be touched, sort of like... Okay, nicely. Do it nicely. Jab at it. Okay, if you're on a call and you need to look at your calendar, A, press home, B, ask Siri, C, hang up, and D, press the recent apps.
Well, if you had just been looking at your calendar, then recent apps would be great. Otherwise, you press home and you can open your calendar while the call is still going on.
And if you don't see an app, yet you know it's on your phone, A, ask Google, B, use app search, or C, keep looking.
Search. Search for anything you need. Search and you will find.
All right. If you don't have a dedicated back button, like on the iPhone, the old iPhones, where do you look?
No, the new 5 iPhones don't have a back button either.
Oh, right.
No back button.
Like on the, no back button.
No back button.
On iPhones. I was thinking of the home button, the old ones.
Right.
Yeah. Where do you look for an on-screen back button?
Top left. That's just a standard that most apps adhere to. The app will get you back after you have gone into other areas of the app. Not all of them, but
and that has nothing to do with iPhones necessarily.
Not necessarily, right.
Okay. Wow. Backstage pass. We're going to do that right after this right after this show. It's an online meetings using Zoom. So real soon, get the link from geeksontour.com, click on member login. After logging in, you scroll down there. You'll see the pass. You can click on that and you can get in there. Chris also sent out an email earlier today, so the link would be in that email as well. So, Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our YouTube shows?
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is YouTube show. You'll find all 261 of them under there.
Great. And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters?
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is blogs and news. You'll find 15 years of newsletters listed there.
That's a long. And why do people pay $58 a year to join Geeks on Tour?
Because they like us.
Isn't that nice?
And they do get benefits. They get benefits like the backstage pass, like the tips, like the access to all of the videos and the show notes for these shows.
And the books.
And the books, right. The ebooks are all available at no extra charge for our members. And some people join just to say thank you for all the training that we give for free. And we
appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, become a member. It's $58 a year. We also have a 1 year, doesn't auto renew at $68. Go to geeksontour.com/join now. And sign up for our newsletters. Some of the benefits there. Subscribe to this channel. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geeks on Tour.
See you next time.
Thanks so much.
Okay, so there's two more on the basic smartphone tips. The Reboot.